Knowles, how you doing? So I just got, literally, just before I went on, I got a letter from my publisher who was bringing out the novel of what was our first season of Another Kingdom. And they wanted some promotional pictures. So I sent them some promotional pictures of myself. And the lady publicist wrote back and said, "Oh, if I could only get some pictures of Michael Knowles."
Stop it. Be still. You know, there are dark corners of the internet where she can find as many pictures as her heart delights in.
That's all I get. Here's a picture of me. Oh, could I have a picture of Knowles?
Oh, please. Oh, that swarthy little, ooh, hubba, hubba, hubba. Well, it has been a lot of fun. We've been going, we did 2 episodes last week of the new season.
Yes, we did. I mean, amazing.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the real trouble, I think you probably remember this when we were doing the 2nd episode last week, is I was on a roll, you know, we were shooting for a while, and then I totally flubbed it because I was getting too into the story that I forgot to perform. So it's so good. I mean, it's really, it is this like just train, this constant momentum. The story is just terrific. I thought the first season was good. This season is better.
Oh, well, thank you. And you're doing a great job. I have to tell you, I don't know if you were there when we had the dragon argument the other night. Were you in the room when this happened?
I kept flitting in and out of this dragon argument.
So we had, Jay Hay, the producer, and I have been having this argument because there is a monster in the story who I keep referring to, or the narrator keeps referring to as a dragon. And he keeps saying, well, a dragon has to be a serpent. And I keep saying a dragon is a monster, usually represented as a serpent. So we got into the argument, and I made the mistake of having this argument in front of my son, Spencer, who speaks 1,000,000 languages, and he said dragon is, in fact, Greek for serpent. So now I felt like an idiot. So I go back to the manuscript to see how he first describes it. And he describes it as a dragon-like monster, and then as shorthand says dragon. So now I've emphasized that a little bit for Jay. You may have to reread the line.
We're going to have to go back.
Said, so.
You committed one of the classic blunders. One is never fight a land war in Asia. The other is never go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. And then the third is never quibble over the meaning of a word with your son, who knows the meaning of every single word over there at Oxford.
What an irritating little person. I don't know how he ever let that kid out of the house. All right, but speaking of irritating, let us talk about my former favorite sport, the National Football League.
Speaking of classic blunders, right?
Classic blunders. They're still at it. They're still kneeling and making a fuss. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. So in May, you'll recall, the NFL announced no more kneeling. It's now against the rules to kneel. You don't have to come out for the flag, but you can't kneel if you do come out on the field. And this was after Donald Trump was just raking in public approval for pointing out that it's very wrong to protest the American flag, especially during sports. So, okay, that was May. Fast forward to July, and the NFL says, yeah, we're not going to enforce the rule. Well, it's the rule, but we're a little nervous, and blah, 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 blah. So, this past weekend, now, I'm sorry to say that people kneeled, but I'm pleased to say that it was just 2 people who kneeled.
Was it only 2 people?
It was only 2.
That makes me feel a little better, actually.
You know, there were 13 games, 26 teams. 2 people kneeled. It was on the Miami Dolphins receivers, Kenny Stills and Albert Wilson kneeled during the Star-Spangled Banner. And the defensive end, Robert Quinn, raised a fist. But that's fine. Who cares? You know, I use that fist emoji all the time, so that's okay. But the real disrespecting of the flag, that was the real problem. And so the NFL has gotten clobbered because of this. Their ratings have tanked. You know, their ratings were down. When all this started in 2016, their ratings fell 8%. Then last year it was 10%. This year analysts expect the numbers to fall even more because the NFL cannot get this under control and the damage has already been done. So what does Nike do? What does one of the biggest sports brands in the world do? Decides to emulate the exact campaign that has destroyed the NFL. You saw the Colin Kaepernick ad, I assume?
I saw the poster of it, but they did a video ad now, too, which I haven't seen.
They did a video. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pull it.
Oh.
The video is fine. They only showed the most egregious last part, which is Kaepernick's face, you know, and it says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. Or if it means ditching a failing career and making millions of dollars from Nike.
Nike ads, right. And what does he believe in exactly? He believes the country oppresses
He believes in
him.
Fidel Castro. He believes in Malcolm X, whom he wears on his T-shirts. So there are a lot of people now trying to come out and say that this was a great move for Nike. You know, the minute Nike did it, they lost, I think, $4 billion in market cap. The stock was down over 3.5%, just about. The stock has rebounded a bit since then. But There was a Morning Consult poll that came out right after this happened. Net favorability for Nike before the Kaepernick ad was plus 69. Net favorability afterward fell 34 points. Republican favorability, obviously, dropped 70 points. It dropped across the political spectrum, though. And then the key is in these key demographics. So what Nike thought was that, okay, we're going to lose, old white guys, but we're really going to win among left-wing, 18-year-old black athletes in certain cities or whatever. That's what they were doubling down on. They had no boost in their key demographics. They actually declined slightly, according to Morning Consult. So those key demographics include black customers, younger generations, current Nike users, and others. They had a little bit of a decline. The campaign hasn't seemed to have much effect on the NFL yet, but how can the NFL fall any further?
I have to tell you, last night I usually tape a game on Sunday and watch it at night. And last night I turned it on and I just couldn't watch because I had heard that they were no longer enforcing the rule. And when they made the rule, I thought, okay, fair enough. I'll watch the show. People who don't want to salute the flag don't come out. But first of all, it makes me so annoyed that a sport which is supposed to bring the whole country together, sport has always been a way of bringing a country together, that a sport is being used to disrespect the flag. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, when Trump protested against it, when he said we should all respect the flag, they immediately played the race card, essentially saying, no, black people don't have to respect the flag. And my feeling about this is, black people were mistreated in this country. Nobody denies it. The shame that we have endured, the guilt, the self-searching, it has all been done. The racism has been expunged from the principles of our institutions. That's not saying that there are no racists running around. That's absurd. But it has been expelled and expunged from our institutions. And now they're saying, oh, and yeah, take your flag and stick it. And my feeling is, hey, dude, you're welcome. You're welcome to come in. We want you in. We get it. Big mistake. I wasn't there. It wasn't on my watch, but it happened. I get it. Come on in, and they say no. And my feeling about that is I can't imagine that's a good thing. So the thing here is that white activists, the white rich people who run the NFL, are allowing this to happen for a few soreheads. But at least from what you're saying, it seems to me that actual black human beings are thinking, no, I'm not going for this.
That's right. It mars an entire race of people because of some communist punk, who is in a Nike ad.
Yeah, and there are white communist punks, and that's fine. But it's the white people who are putting this all on black people.
That's right. Half of Colin Kaepernick, right? Exactly. Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's the same thing. I saw you play that David Hogg clip.
Yeah.
When they say, we need to not lock up as many criminals because that's unfair to black people. You say, you're calling black people criminals. I'm not doing it. You're the one who's conflating those two things. It's really, really offensive, and it's being cheered on by white liberals. But if these numbers are true from Morning Consult, then it shows us what that really means for the country more broadly and for black customers more broadly. The one thing we're hearing from the left now is they're saying, well, Nike's online sales shot up over Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
This is evidence that the campaign worked. First of all, Nike's sales always shoot up over Labor Day weekend. I think last year they were up 17% over that weekend. This year they're up something like 30%. So I do see that statistic, but it is worth pointing out the two things can simultaneously be true. The ad campaign can be hurting Nike and their sales could have gone up. One explanation for that is that this year over year from last Labor Day, the economy is up 17% right now. We are at record low unemployment, record high economic growth. So I'm not surprised that Nike is selling more running shoes. The question is, what is the effect on their brand perception? And according to a very reliable source, Morning Consult, it looks like they have been killed across the board.
So in other words, they are benefiting from the Trump economy while Trump hammers them for it's just unfair. Is there, in terms of football losing some of its credibility, is every time they talk to the football people about this, they say, well, that may be one aspect of it, this flag, foo-for-ah, but there's so many other things that we have to deal with. To me, it seems like that's the only thing. This was before Colin Kaepernick, who, as you remember, he replaced Alex Smith, I think it was, on the San Francisco 49ers. They threw him in there when Smith got hurt, and Smith went on to lead the Kansas City team to several playoff appearances, right? So while Colin Kaepernick tanked because all these guys who pass and run, the minute they can't run anymore because they can't afford to hurt him, they lose their game. So he was tossed out. But it seems to me that the NFL was the biggest business in America until this, and that all of this is this. Is there any evidence that there's anything else affecting their viewership?
Not one little bit. Yeah. You know, they keep trying to blame it on all of these external factors, just like they blame Kaepernick, you know, losing his football job on external factors other than he was a failing player who then had to create an off-ramp for himself, which he's done very lucratively.
Yeah.
The numbers that we're seeing, 8% down, 10% down, possibly more down this year, they exactly coincide with the Take a Knee campaign. Now, people can blame it on streaming services, on the internet, on this, that, or the other thing. All of those existed long before 2016, long before Take a Knee, but the plunge accelerated when Take a Knee started to happen. They always are distracting on this. Even about the flag protest, they say, well, they're not really kneeling for the flag. They're not protesting the flag. They're protesting the anthem. Say, well, the anthem is called the Star Spangled Banner.
Exactly.
They say, oh, they're protesting police brutality. You say, okay, well, they're not, right? I mean, they're protesting the flag. And Colin Kaepernick says as much. He says, I will not stand for a flag of a country that oppresses black people.
That's what he said. Those are
his words.
Yep.
And I think they're always trying to distract. It is very clear. Colin Kaepernick is protesting the flag, which is the symbol of the country. It has totally destroyed the NFL. It's hurting Nike, not only on its stock price, but in key demographics. And everything else we're hearing is noise and distractions and saying, look over here, look over here, look over here. Don't look at what is really happening. But we can see it clear as day.
Wow. Good job, Michael. Michael Knowles of the Michael Knowles Show, and apparently the dreamboat ingenue of Another Kingdom Season 2. Who knew?
Hubba, yeah. Send her my number, baby.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
See you later.